what's going on guys, Snug here. I am the IGL for the Kinetic CS roster, and today I'm here showing you guys a few tips about rifle control in Counter-Strike. So to start off with, I'm going to start with crosshair placement, then I'm going to move on to spray control, and I'm also going to do a little bit about movement as well. So to start off with, I'm just going to set this up to show you guys about crosshair placement. So crosshair placement isn't necessarily being able to pre-aim the exact positions of every enemy position. It's more having your crosshair ready to take an engagement. So when you're going around a corner, you don't necessarily want to have your crosshair like that stuck to the wall, or pointing at the wall, or pointing at the ground. You want to have it at head height, and you want to be able to have a bit of distance away from the wall. So if someone does swing out, you don't really have to adjust. So if someone was swinging out now, you'd have to move. So let's say their head is ends up about here. If you have your cursor here, you're gonna have to spend some extra time flicking across to get your target. So if you're holding it a bit further out, they'll just swing into your crosshair. Another thing is, as well as peeking, is knowing the angle that you're about to peek. So crosshair placement does play in does have a really big part in peeking against an enemy, because if you're going to peek and you're like that, you're probably going to die, especially if you're against a good rifler and an AWP or something of the other. So when you're trying to peek an angle, it's good to keep in mind on roughly where your target's going to be, how far they're going to be, the kind of angle that they're holding. Try and keep in mind all this different information. So when you peek, you can just tap or spray into the enemy and have a decent chance of winning. But if they're quicker than you, then you probably will end up dying, let's face it. But crosshair placement is very, very important when you're trying to take sites, when you're trying to hold sites. Really, a lot of what comes down to aiming in CSGO is your crosshair placement. Another thing, of course, is spraying. So people like nothing. He even says this. You do not control recoil, you guide the recoil. So you don't guide the recoil to every bullet. This here is controlling recoil. It's just guiding where I want the bullets to go. You're not going to see many people, you're not going to see any people who memorize the recoil pattern with every bullet. It's just spray out a wall. So I know it goes up, it goes a bit to the left, and then goes right. So I'm pretty confident in knowing, if I'm transferring spray or if I'm in a gunfight, I'm pretty confident in knowing that my muscle memory will help me guide the recoil to where I want to shoot, to how low I need to be, to the pattern of the recoil pattern itself. So another thing that will also affect this is your movement, because as you can see, if you're just holding A, bullets are going to go everywhere. You're not going to hit anything unless you're lucky. So what you see quite a few people doing is counter strafing. So you strafe, shoot, strafe, shoot. And as you can see, I'm moving a fair bit, but as long as I hit the strafe right, my shots are going on target. That's because when I'm holding D, when I go to shoot, I quickly tap A and then I shoot. I don't just stop. I don't just stop when I let go of D. I press A quick, and if I want to go left, I press D. That's really all there is. So you can combine that with jiggle peeking, which you see quite a few players do at a higher level. They can bait out AWP shots, rifle shots, and some lower levels of play. I've seen lower ranks commit to that spray. If someone's jiggling you, don't want to commit to the spray, because the moment you run out of ammo, you're a free kill. Take a couple of pop shots, yes, but don't waste your entire clip. You're gonna need ammo to take a fight. If you're just sat there spraying out the wall, the moment you run out, you're free kill. No matter how quick you go to start moving in, they're gonna peek out. they know what they're doing. They're going to peek out and they're going to headshot you. So not only you have to, of course, keep an eye on your crosshair placement. You need to know all these different angles. If this is a bit confusing, I will probably do an updated video where I explain this a bit better because this is unscripted. I'm not scripting this. To be able to do this video, I'll probably have to script it, but it's like 3 a.m. in the morning. I don't really fancy writing one, so if this is getting a bit confusing, feel free to ask. Feel free to ask any questions in the comment section, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So yeah, for training aim, it's not necessarily just going to aimbots and tapping. This won't, for me personally, what I find is that this doesn't improve my aim much. What I like to do is I like to load up some 128 tick deathmatch. So let's just load this server. See if I can actually connect, because I've been having problems connecting to servers recently. There we go. What I like to do is I like to load up deathmatch, and then for like if you're playing deathmatch and you still want to learn recoil, spray at the wall. Spray at the wall if you want to learn. That's probably the best way you're gonna learn how to guide your recoil to your target. And I'm out of ammo. With deathmatch, you can frag out in deathmatch, but you could still play like shit in normal games because deathmatch is not competitive. Deathmatch is not very different to playing comp. All deathmatch is doing is setting you up for the recoil control and your crosshair placement. It's not necessarily how each game is going to go. So you got to keep that in mind. Of course, like, play deathmatch every day, but don't do what I do. Please play it. If you're playing deathmatch, play something else as well, like a retake server or something. Otherwise, you're gonna. What I find is you're gonna. I personally got into a thing of I was constantly in the mindset of deathmatch, and I was playing comp or I was playing face it, and I could not play well at all because I thought I was in the mindset of deathmatch. So that's another thing you need to keep in mind when practicing shooting, rifling, or whatever you're doing in general, including pistoling. You need to make sure that you play consistently as well. You don't just want to improve in one area, you want to improve in multiple different areas. Well, yes, at a lower rank, you could probably aim your way out of silver. That's practically what I did, with a bit of luck with teammates. But at the end of the day, the higher rank you're going to get, you're going to need to start improving more things, which is what I'm planning this series to be. Is to help you guys improve, to teach you guys something about CSGO. When you first getting into this, it can be a bit daunting at first, but after you start getting the swing of things, you will start improving. So, I think that's going to be it for my first video in the series. I'm not sure what I'm calling it yet, but I've been your host, Snug, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.